You know, I can't believe it's been 2 years since I looked at the last mainline Mario game. You know, hell, it's been 4 years since I started looking at them and started my channel as well with this video essay type format, you know. So much time has passed, you know. It's crazy how far I've come between then and now, you know. I've got much better equipment. My room hasn't flooded again for the 3rd time, thank God. I know that's less of a me thing, but you know, still nice. I've gotten way better at editing, you know. I've ventured out into different types of mediums and styles of creation and formats and yada yada. I'm 19 now actually, and I'm sadder and have 76 subscribers. But other than that, it's been pretty alright. Recently, I've felt like I've, you know, should venture back into the Mario games and you know, pick up where I left off. And also just for the fact I've had a hankering for that plumber fucker. So yeah, with that said, let's start with Mario's jump into 3D. Dude, it's Super Mario 64. Okay, I'm gaffing with you, but at the same time, what can I say about this game that hasn't been said in every other 70 trillion YouTube videos made on it? The fact that this is one of the first couple big 3D platformers and it was this good right out of the gate, hot damn, man. It's good, you know, but like, why do I find myself loving it so much? It could be that from the minute you slap the game into the N64 and make a game file, you're thrown into the courtyard with no rules. Just go out and do what you want and explore, learn the controls, you open-minded motherfucker. It is a great way to start off the game to get someone used to the controls, especially for people back in '96, for this being probably one of their first 3D video games ever, you know? Let it be known that this doesn't hold your hand, like, at all. Mario 64 doesn't take it as like baby's first 3D game, Goo Goo Gaga follow me while I walk down the cereal aisle to get some Weetabix, you know? It lets you experience and understand the controls with the game's new comings as well. Cause in between the time of Mario World and this, Mario has gone to fucking acrobatics class and learned a lot of new skills. Backflips, wall jumps, breakdance kick, punching, air dash, crawl, and show off his new health counter. Yeah, we don't get little short stumpy Mario. Instead, now we just get this beauty of a noise. To be honest, I like the idea of a health counter a lot more than the traditional way that Mario used to take damage in the games before this. Also, because I think it would be just really stupid looking for a smaller Mario in 3D. Like, just think of like the new Super Mario Bros. Model for small Mario. It looks so fucking weird. Anyways, when you're finally caught up with the controls and everything new, and you're like, okay, I'm done with this, you walk into the castle. I mean, first you're introduced to the camera system, but then you walk into the castle and your world is just... Mario 64 gives you this easy to understand, take at your own pace open hub. The hub itself is also just really cool. You can finally walk around and explore the depths of Peach's castle. Like, it's badass, you know? Even though the architecture design of it is fucking baffling at times. Who the hell puts a portal in the middle of the floor? And there's a lot of flooding in the basement. But it is a fun experience and time to walk around this hub world and get to experience all the secrets and hidden passageways and just the whole building itself. And it's so weird to think that we wouldn't be able to explore Peach's castle again until Super Mario Odyssey. Like, that's just a weird, I don't know. Either way, the way you select courses you want to play is, it's just so funny to me. Like, that could just be because of like all the memes I've seen, but at the end of the day, it's still just Mario full force jumping into a painting or a... One of my favorite things about this game is that you have the ability to skip and choose what you want to do, at least to an extent level-wise, you know? Obviously, you can't immediately walk into the castle and head up to the final Bowser boss fight because you want to, I mean, unless you're a menace to society and you know some type of glitch to get you to go. The first course that you experience in this game, and you have to experience it because you can't otherwise, is Bomb Bomb Battlefield. Aside from it being a Mario staple and so fucking iconic, it's just fun as hell. Simple, easy to follow course layout and design, showing you the other stars you can collect along the way, not having to follow in order of 1, 2, 3, and you can go off on like your own path. And instead of heading to the top to beat the king, you can release the chain shop and then bam, free star, you know? It also hits you with this memorable music too that will never leave my ears or brain, you know? And once again, with great design to get newcomers comfortable with the game and how it flows. I honestly love this course. I know all the star objectives, where the red coins are, blah blah blah. The slidey hill where that one red coin is, and if you miss it, you have to climb all the way back up, and then if you miss it again, you gotta do that again, and it's a... I could literally give an essay on this course alone. Not for like a school paper, because I'm not in school, but like maybe on a first date. A lot of the courses in this game are great. Maybe not as fun as Bomb Bomb Battlefield, but there are a handful of good ones. I don't like Jolly Roger Bay or Dire Dire Docks. Although the song for this is heavenly and unforgettable. I'll talk about them more later when I talk about the soundtrack, but just they're not my favorites. The swimming in it is just kind of slow. It's really slow. Not the biggest fan of Hazy Maze Cave, and I'm not flipping my shit when I get to Wet Dry World either. Tiny Huge World is an interesting idea, but execution-wise, it kind of falls on its huge ass. It can become really tedious to have to figure out like what size you have to be, run back to the pipe, jump in, then you have to deal with the levels. Just awkward design, and yes, I know that there are signs around that can help you, you know, that'll give you hints and be like, hey, this is blah blah blah, but like sometimes you just forget about the signs, you know? And I don't feel like that's a me thing, because I feel like that's probably everyone else. Aside from those courses and their clunky layout design and the swimming. Yeah, swimming! Mario 64 is a fun playthrough from start to finish. It also helps that the star tasks you do in these courses are pretty fun. Of course, there are some copy and paste ones like reach the top and fight the boss, run through the course as normal to get the star, collect all the red coins. And yeah, some of the red coins do kind of suck in certain instances. I personally don't go after them more in later game stuff, but separate from those copy and paste objectives, the rest are all specific to their setting and course. I think I'm safe with saying that we all remember playing the baby penguin star for the first time, where we have to deliver a lost baby penguin to its mother, yet there are like 5 baby penguins that all look the same around the map, but you don't know that, so you're like, oh, I'll take this one, and the bitch is like, that's not my baby! And then you try to go get the other babies, only to get denied, and then find out that the baby penguin that at the start was the correct child, so by the time you get there, you're just about ready to commit huckthelittlefuck.exe. I'm glad to say there's also a bunch more memorable and classic stars in this game from any others in Cool Cool Mountain, Scaling Womp's Fortress, the Boo's Haunted House, how you have to figure that out, it's pretty cool. Tick-Tock Clock, even though it has some level issue designs, is still kind of fun, and depending on the star, is a good time. The little encounters or boss fights you'll have with some of the stars where you gotta reach the top, and depending on the fight, you have to like throw or like worsen the boss's scoliosis. I love the 1-star on Bomb Bomb Battlefield where you have to race this Koopa, but instead of being this intense race to the finish, you fucking dust him within seconds. Rainbow Ride is kind of a slower level, but it is kind of entertaining just to cruise around on this rainbow, you know, this and this magic carpet and pretend that you're Aladdin for a minute, you know. Even if sometimes the carpet is a little fucking stupid, it's an alright level. I have fun sometimes. There's so much fun to be had, even outside of the courses, with secrets around the castle, like the Peach window plane slide that you jump into and then you being able to drain the water out from the lower level of the castle. To fucking I guess you are doing your job being a plumber and fixing the fucking the flooding issue, I guess. The 100% goal in getting all 120 stars and finding Yoshi at the top of the castle, which I have yet to set out to actually achieve. But this game has some fun little secrets. Something you can find around the castle isn't even a secret, but power-ups, or the activation of them. Walking around courses, you might have noticed these transparent blocks. Looking at these, it's like, what? How do I get these? What do I do? Well, these are for the game's power-ups, which there are only 3 of. The Vanish Cap, Metal Cap, and the Wing Cap. You unlock these power-ups by exploring the castle more. Well, in the Wing Cap's case, you look up into the ceiling and burn your retinas from a blazing light. To find hidden levels where you hit a big switch and then boom! You go back to those courses where you saw like the transparent block and you're able to use those caps now. Well, certain caps in certain courses. There's no Fire Flower, no Tanuki Leaf, etc, etc. It's only these 3 Mario caps, and they're all pretty self-explanatory. The Wing Cap is the best one, hands down. Unlocking it is a blast. It's entertaining getting used to the momentum mechanics. It's kind of like the cape in a way, but being able to get higher is a little bit more difficult. Or maybe I just suck at it. You want to know what doesn't suck, though? The music. Look, it's the Mario 64 soundtrack. Dude, the beautiful melodies, strings, scale of it all, it's amazing. Even for 1996, it's still really, really good. Like, I don't know if that's just nostalgia or just a bias, but it's like, there's a reason that songs like the theme song, Dire Dire Dock, Slider, Snow Mountain, Bomb Bomb Battlefield are so memorable. Even the goddamn File Select has a slapping song. It's just nice that this whole experience is just topped with a cherry. A cherry being the controls. Okay. Oh my god. So, this is the second draft of my script, but in the original script I had some glasses on, some nostalgia glasses a little bit, and I was basically defending Mario 64's controls and being like, it's not as bad as they say. Now, I hadn't played Mario 64 in about a year because I had some gameplay footage just saved on my hard drive that I was going to use for when I got around to Mario 64 footage. But then I replayed the game in HD because of the Mario collection, and I realized how stupid I was. The Mario 64 controls are... Look, in some aspects, the controls are very much dated, without a doubt. But, you know, aside from that, are the controls dated? Yes, without a doubt. But they are still very much playable. Like, it definitely isn't as bad as people sometimes will have you believe. It's, you know, for certain courses, for about 85, 75% of the game, it's fine. I do, on the other hand, have moments where Mario's movements tend to be, you know, it'll be pretty easy flowing for the most part. There are times where I want Mario to do like a side somersault, but instead he just does like a full 80-degree turn and then flies off the platform or gets hit by an enemy I was trying to avoid. When it does work out though, Mario becomes the most acrobatic motherfucker I've ever seen. It's very picky, and I understand that it's 1996. This is one of the big first 3D games, so the controls aren't going to be perfect. And I'm fine with that. They're not awful. They're picky sometimes, you know? But picky on like a 75 to, you know, I did not forget how to do math. Obviously, you know, the Mario series would go on to develop and have some of the smoothest controls I've ever seen in a video game. But for this being, you know, one of the first big 3D games, this was a blueprint, you know? And, you know, it's pretty damn good for a start. Look at it like this, you know? Remember when you were 8 and you were starting to draw, you know? And you drew something big and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then you look at it 10, 15 years later, you know, and you're like, oh my God, I have improved so much. It's kind of like that. There are certain things you like about your original drawing. You're like, oh, that eye's really good. Oh, the hands are really nice there. I love the shading on this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, and then you redraw it and you're like, oh, but I like certain things about this better. That's how I feel about the controls for Mario 64. There are a lot of things I like about it, but there would be so much better. Mario Sunshine and Odyssey. And yes, I know the camera is an issue here too. It's better than I expected. Banjo-Kazooie did a lot better job with the camera, I feel, but it's not awful. It just can be a little difficult at times. Like in Tick-Tock Clock. The level is cool-ish, but holy shit, this camera becomes harder to deal with than being forced to write a 6-page essay on the social significance of Cars 2 with arthritis kicked up to Mach 5. It tends to just fight with you a majority of the time. Even if you want to zoom the camera out a little just so you can get more perspective on what the fuck is going on around you, you have basically just signed your death certificate, and you can't have the camera at a normal perspective, you know, because it's weird when it's that close, at least for me. So I have the camera pulled back, and when I do, I have things like this. And then when I do fall because I can't see what I'm doing, you know, you have that classic wailing sound from Mario as he plummets to his death. Oh, speaking of which, Mario's voice debut is front and center. Done by the one and only Chris Pratt.
It's me, Mario.
This is a little side tangent. I still can't believe that Chris Pratt is fucking Mario. Looking at this image just seems unreal. The Matrix is broken. What year did I wake up in? Something happened in 2016 that sent us down the wrong timeline. I don't know. This video is being recorded and made before any material is released on the movie, so maybe he'll be good, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. But Charles Martinet makes his debut as Mario in this game and does a phenomenal job, as to be expected from this beautiful man he is. Love those classic ungodly sounds he was able to come up with and cement into our heads. I'll give you this, it is so much better than the original test voice they had for Mario in like any demos you would see of early footage. It's just, oh my god, that old one is like ear piercing. But the best Martinet quote, obviously, that he came up with for he did for this game is "So long, Gate Bowser," even though it's supposed to be "So long, King of Bowser." But it doesn't sound like that. But to do another hot segue, let's talk about Bowser. Let's talk about the Bowser fights, guys. Anyways, the Bowser fights. There aren't that many. And they're all quite simple. Literally, there's 3. Literally, you just run around him, grab the fucker by his tail, and whip him into these mind bombs he has laying around the place, and bam! On the final fight, you have to do it 3 times, but done. You've just completed Mario 64. In all honesty, I don't really care too much for these fights, or that these fights weren't, like, over the top, all out. Especially seeing as how every other Bowser fight has, you know, in previous games have been pretty tame, you know, compared to this. Though this is satisfying after getting 70 stars and being able to finally scale that never-ending staircase to run through the final Bowser level and whoop his ass, you know? After you beat Bowser, though, you get this nice cutscene of Mario saving Peach, who was in the castle this whole time. I had to do all that for you to be in the damn window. Bitch, I should have just came in with a fucking wrecking ball and bada boom, done! Jokes aside, the ending is charming and Mario actually gets that damn cake and a kiss on the nose.
Here we go!
You know, writing this video is actually kind of a challenge for me. Not because like I couldn't think of anything to say or talk about or write, but it was actually the opposite, you know? I had way too much to say. Like, I had to like create a second draft for the script, and usually I don't create second drafts for my scripts, but in this case I just had to, because there were things I missed, things I had to maybe remove, things I had to just do because I just talked about this game too much. And that's not a bad thing. This game is good, you know? I went on to talk about like my personal experiences, my my ports, my memories, you know, anything I have associated with this game. So let's talk about it, you know. I got time. It's my video, you know. I got plenty of time. Ain't that right, Past Austin?
Please, I just want to go to sleep.
Well, you can get plenty of sleep when you're dead. It's Mario 64 time. I figured I would start with the first ever and only remake of Mario 64, or official remake, that is, Super Mario 64 DS. This was a launch title for the DS back in the day in November 2004. Holy goddamn, it's 17 years. Oh my god. Almost 18. Oh my god. What the fuck? At the time, this was really fucking cool to have Mario 64 with like new graphics on a console, a new console, a portable console, you know? That's some big shit right there. But looking back at it in 2022, not the greatest graphics-wise. The graphics are still fucking jagged. Like, yes, the new textures are nice, but from time to time, the game just tends to look really aged. Also, 2004, right? You know, just look at the DS. I want you to see the one problem about having Mario 64 on a DS. Ah, yes, you have to use the D-pad. Obviously, this isn't a deal killer. Like, it's still playable. Definitely odd, but playable nonetheless. And yes, you can play it on a 3DS with a circle pad, like I did when I was younger, because I didn't have a DS, but I had a 3DS, but it doesn't fix the slight issue, you know? Also, not to mention, you could play it another way using the stylus on the bottom screen, but I'm not mentally ill. I mean, I am, but not that mentally ill. Other than that, it's pretty much the same game with some new added features, like 3 new playable characters, like Yoshi, Wario, and Luigi, who all play differently from one another. Like, this blew my mind when I was younger because I thought it was just so fun to play as Luigi and his little water Jesus run. There's also some new power-ups, even ones dedicated to specific characters. These are all also fine, but they aren't used that much to where definitely it's just like, hey, let's throw them into the game. Great idea, you know. Other than that, copy and paste. It's definitely a fine way to play Mario 64, but there are better options. But oh boy, did I play the shit out of this. For the longest time growing up, I didn't have like the internet. So when it came to my knowledge of games, and especially older ones, I had no idea really how to get them. I used to look on Amazon for like goddamn GameCube game and like N64 games and see this like outrageous like $90 price because they were like sealed copies still or whatever. And I and I would look at that full and be like, my parents will get me this. They did not. But one day while walking in Walmart, I remember I was looking at the games and saw Super Mario 64 DS, and I asked my nana to buy it for me, and bada boom, bada bing, I did. I got it. I, again, played the shit out of this version for a long while, until one day a few years later, I had moved and was in like the 7th grade, and finally gotten my hand into like retro game collecting and just gotten internet finally. So like I was more tuned in with all that stuff now, you know? And I was at my friend's house and we were hanging out and stuff like that, and one of his other friends, I don't remember exactly how this came up, but he had mentioned that he had never played Mario 64. So me being the dumbass I am and thinking, oh, I have a legit copy of Super Mario 64 now on the N64. I don't need this inferior DS version. I gave it to him. I gave it to his friend, you know. Never got it back. And people wonder why I hate myself. I know nowadays I could just buy a new copy. I'm a working man. I get money. I get the bands. I get the stacks. That's a fact. But, you know, it's semantics. But Mario 64 DS was my first experience ever with playing that game in any capacity. I remember I would play it so many times. I never beat it, but still played the shit out of it. Especially with those mini games they added. Oh my god, dude. The Yoshi's Pedal, Luigi's beginner-friendly gambling addiction, and the drawing game were so much fun. It was awesome. It wasn't until I got my N64 copy of the game that I would finally go on to beat this game when I was in, I think beginning of 9th grade. Maybe? Yeah. That was a big accomplishment for me. Mainly because I had finally beat Mario 64. But, you know, and it was just a big deal when you finally beat a game, you know? I used to wake up in the mornings on the weekends and just lay in bed early morning and just play the game until I decided to just drag myself out of bed. Like, I'll never forget about the countless videos I would watch on the game. The mod videos, like putting Luigi in the game, speed runs, Peanut Butter Gamer's hacking video, and trying the cartridge tilt thing when I got my own copy. It was just memories, man. Super Mario 64 is a good game. I know that has been nailed and shoved in between the lobes of your brain more than once throughout the course of this video, but it's just but it's hard not to praise this game for what it has done for the video game industry and world as we know it. The impact of Mario 64 throughout the gaming world is very important and vast. It's huge, you know. Don't hit the mic. But I feel like that alone, on that subject of the importance of it, you know, not subtracting myself, but like to games, to others, to developers, like that itself could be in a whole other video, which I might, you know, another time. But you know, it's, I got other stuff to do, you know. Has this game aged poorly and become rough in some aspects? Good Christ on a bike, yes. Okay, there's no hiding that. There is, though, a lot of nostalgia and good points with this game still, and I would highly recommend this game to any dumbasses who have not somehow played this game yet. Like, if you haven't played this game yet, how? I know I've said that before, like about a couple other videos, but or like video games, but how not Mario 64? How have you not? How have you not? How? Did the issues with the camera or maybe some of the gameplay minor issues make this game unplayable? No. You stupid? No. It's still a well-constructed game, and it's still got plenty of charm and replay value to it, you know? So with that, that's all I really have. I'm on like 5 hours of sleep. So I'm about to yahoo into my pussy right now.